Hello everyone, this is Caillou. Today I'm joined by Pipsqueak, and together we're going to be commentating this round 2 match for Grand Prix Kamloops. This match is between BluesEclipse, who is on a blue-black Vedlinn control, which is a standard control deck which aims to use its titular card Vedlinn Ross to go over the top with a card advantage by copying all of your spells or your opponent's spells. Meanwhile, Serendipigans is on Temur lands, which is essentially a deck that has a primary game plan of comboing out with Contra of Bounty plus a Verdant Sanctuary, but also has a secondary grindy fair game plan. Right now, Serendipigans is on a Malta 5. It does have double Nebula's Call here, which is probably worth something. I don't know why Serendipigans got a forest with that first Nebula's Call. I would think that you would want complete fixing.
What's the red for in the main deck?
I think Earthen Armor, there's a Boran Spriggan.
Got it. So actually Sev things is the answer.
Yeah, and you knew the Snow Beast. I think that's how you pronounce that. Meanwhile...
Yeah, I think we're going to see a little bit of the mana issues inherent in Serendipigans' deck, because the deck cares about its basics, and in particular it cares about having a bunch of snow lands, it doesn't get to run dual lands, which means it has kind of really shaky mana for a mana-based deck. So had to mulligan a good 6-card hand because of that.
And yeah, I think another thing that we're going to be seeing is that Serendipigans' deck has lots of threats which, to put it bluntly, or lots of non-land cards.
Individually weak cards.
Yeah, that just do not do much.
Yeah, you kind of need to hit critical mass of your effects. So usually control decks like Loses pick apart synergy-based decks like this, because Serendipigans can now go like the Flora Expert, which immediately it's a Cursory Glance, and then Cane Dancer will counter the next thing, and the next unit will counter the next thing. It's like just kind of a endless train. I'm not sure why Blues necessarily fetched here, because if your opponent doesn't do anything for some reason, you would want to fetch your like a duel into play, but I also don't think it matters. Even a little. Yeah,
Serendipigans' inherent Serendipigans is inherently disfavored in this matchup, and then that's just exacerbated by their Malta 5, it seems like.
Yeah, and I think that's very true in the sense that when you're in this sort of matchup, the way you beat it as the kind of ramp deck is by reloading your opponent's counter magic and answers, and you just can't do that if you're on a Malta 5.
But yeah, like you predicted, Xenoflora immediately eats a Cursory Glance.
Now the question here will Blues be greedy and play Intrepid, or will he hold up Cane Dancer?
Looks like going for the Intrepid.
Yeah.
Which I think is fine, because...
It's defensible.
Yeah, because, you already have a reasonable advantage anyways, presumably, and you have Exant as an answer. If there's something that's really scary, you can plan for it. What are you afraid of here? That you would... I don't know.
If you're Blues and you don't know the card in Serendipigans' hand, if there's another Xenoflora Expert and a land, things could get dicey. Serendipigans could suddenly draw 2 cards and now be in a position where it's going to be a little bit harder to tame things. And I just think with the hand that Blues has, it just doesn't... There's no value in going for the Intrepid, when you can just sit back and be able to cantrip with Planet, or cast a threat at end step, or any of those things.
Yeah, fair. I think having the Planet changes a lot, because then even if Serendipigans doesn't do anything, you have an actionable play. In fact, you have both Exant and Planet potentially available, so if Serendipigans played a creature threat, Blues could just immediately answer it and still draw cards.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Frontier Beckons is not super relevant. Serendipigans' last card in hand is a Chromatic Herald, which will probably just eat an Exant as soon as it comes down.
Yeah, I feel bad calling games over so early, but I feel pretty confident saying this game is over. Blues has enough interaction and enough card draw that there's not really a thing that Serendipigans can do fight back in this game.
And a fat clock. Contra of Bounty is interesting because it doesn't get hit by...
It doesn't get hit by Cane Dancer back a Cursory Glance, but it still gets X-Unted. And there's also just 1 mana away from casting in first place.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, if I was gonna say, if Serendipigans went Chromatic Herald this turn, gets Exanted, next turn could drop the Contra Bounty. I don't know what that could do, because I don't think the Contra really, just as a 4/4 body, it can't block Intrepid, it doesn't present a fast enough clock to really do anything, but it's still something. I don't know why Serendipigans just held up the Chromatic Herald. Maybe just waiting to get to 7 lands, but then, I don't think that Blues has any, targeted removal off the top of my head. Okay, yeah, an Endless Disco plus Planet that Blues is just drowning in card advantage right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, did Blues already play a land this turn?
Yes, played the Flood and Morass this turn.
Okay, I was just thinking about could immediately pick up the Murmuring Falls otherwise. Yeah, Descend is good. Like, yeah, like, well, what are Serendipigans' outs here is what I'm really trying to think of.
Let me consult their deck list really quickly.
Do they have interaction for this Intrepid?
Well, Chromatic Herald can block. Is that interaction? Does this count?
I guess it saves them a turn. It looks like they're going to be running out Mabel. Okay, I think Mabel probably eats Cane Dancer Cursory. Oh no, it's going to hard cast a Cursory from hand. Okay, not sure why you wouldn't just Cane Dancer one back, but okay.
Well, Cane Dancer has value because it can also be a redraw with Planet Far, Far Away.
That's fair, that's fair.
But I think at this point just plays the Chromatic Herald, which immediately aids Exune, is on a 3-turn clock.
Yeah, and then the Contra can't block. And yeah, without interaction, like, the only hope is, like, Contra a Bounty. It somehow doesn't die because Blues gets greedy and doesn't immediately exit it. And then, I don't know, draws... I don't know, because, like everything that Serendipigans would need is, like, at least 2 more cards in this, if I'm, like, thinking it through right. Like, would need Xenoflora Expert and a land. Would need a Verdant Sanctuary, but then you just have a bunch of lands and nothing to do with it. Like, stuff like that.
Xanagan speeds up this clock by a turn, which is kind of real. Because you uptick, target face, and then Intrepid now is swinging as a 5/5.
I always forget that Xanagan has Exalted Emblems. That is real. Like it. I feel like that is a real synergy with Intrepid, because I feel like you don't really run many other creatures in this type of deck.
Yeah, it came up when I was playing Grixis Fangs, because it just made the 5/5 that Eviana makes swing for like 7, or Lucian swing for like 5, which is great because he has lifelink. Okay, so Petal Weaver Alexa, does this do anything? Because it can like buy a Xenoflora Expert, but you don't have any lands to play. So I think that means this does nothing, even if it did get count. Yeah, I don't know how you sequence your stuff at this point.
And like,
this just eats a Cane Dancer counterspell. Although, if I was Blues, I don't think I would do this.
I would just let it resolve and then exit it.
And then exit it. Yeah, because this way you're technically opening yourself up to a to anything that isn't a creature.
Might be less worried about that just because Serendipigans tap down the blue land, which means that she doesn't have like Mabel available.
Yeah,
so.
No, you're right. There's no real risk here. There's no way things go wrong, but it's one of those like, well, technically.
Pushes glasses up.
Yeah, exactly. The most optimal play while you're losing. So, because Blues didn't play Xanagan last turn. Oh wait, no, but because of Cane Dancer, never mind. I was gonna say it doesn't have lethal. Oh no, but even with
it still doesn't have lethal because Exalted is attacks alone.
I guess you can still play Ephemerate.
Yeah, you can play Ephemeral Adept.
Ephemeral, and then that puts another 3 power on field, so that's lethal.
Okay, so it looks like Serendipigans is activating Contra Bounty, which means, or activating Alexa, discarding Contra Bounty, which means Blues knows what's in
what's in his hand.
Yeah.
So that'll immediately get, well, can't actually yoink this in time.
Oh yeah, because 1 mana. Oh, and then wait, and that gets a basic land. Oh yeah, and then Substantiate is a non-land card. Ha!
So this technically put lethal, well wait, hold on, because this will be, no, because it's still lethal by playing Xanagan.
No wait, Xanagan does 2, Cane Dancer does 1, and then Intrepid
does 1. Because you still just play out the Ephemeral,
Oh yeah, okay. So
yeah.
So if Blue sees it, just plays 0 value Ephemeral Adept, just as a 1/1.
Look, if it gets there, it gets there.
Yeah, and Serendipigans is tapped out with like nothing, so 0 risk.
That's actually the reason to cast Ephemeral Adept in response to Petal Weaver or Alexa downtick. Because then you also deny your opponent the ability to discard something for the to recur something.
How did 2 lands get untapped all of a sudden? Oh, Frontier Beckons. I just grabbed 2 lands from library, I guess. Also, notably, Blues did not play the Ephemeral Adept on end, so there'll be 1 more turn cycle.
Yeah, and like, again, I don't think there's anything that Blues can do to lose this game at this point, but it's also technically just like throwing percentage points out the window.
It's one of those things where it's like, it doesn't matter for this game, but it indicates a style of play that could become problematic in later games if it's a tighter
still a
thing.
Mistake worth thinking about. Yeah, and stop on your draw step is the thing I was about to say. Blues should definitely Ephemeral Adept during draw step.
And just shuffle away, and it... okay. Well, the game's over anyways, but at least Ephemeral Adept doesn't get a target.
Substantiate this.
In response, concede. You're not gonna learn what's in my deck.
This is an open decklist tournament.
Nah, you see. You just bank on them being not able to read. What's that from? Joke's on you, I'm super dead. Oh, no, it's not from something, but like it reminded me of like the thing in Hamilton where it's like...
Do whatever you want, I'm super dead.
Yeah.
It's also, like, joke's on you, I don't have cards.
My grandpa's deck has no bad cards, Kaiba.
My grandpa's deck has no cards.
In fact, it isn't a deck at all. It's just a box.
Okay, so bad news. I don't think Serendipigans has cards to bring into this matchup.
This Soliloquy, kind of? Hunter's Hideout, kind of? Not really?
It's defendable, because it's good against counterspells, but I don't think it's that good. Hunter's Hideout, I don't think is good.
Hunter's Hideout, like, I don't think Serendipigans fills up their graveyard, like, at all.
Yeah, exactly. You should be bringing it if it's a spell, basically.
And Magicka, what? I don't get the are there decks versus which Magicka Siphon?
Deck this that I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, Panya. If you have 7 mana, it poses a Panya deck.
I guess. It seems more like an anti-storm card, but
that is definitely what it's intended as. Meanwhile, Blues can bring in those potions of inhibition.
That's brutal.
That's probably the only thing I'd be interested in bringing in.
I think that there are 2 other cards which would be defendable to bring in, and that's Abscond and Seal the Tomb. Seal the Tomb if you're worried about like the combo potential, like if that's something that you're genuinely worried about, you can just take out if you can like grab a piece. The problem is like Blue doesn't really have like a hand attack to really pair the seal with, so I don't know if that's
countering the first one.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Abscond maybe to like steal some of the non-land permanents if Blues is worried about wanting to interact with those. I don't remember any of them being particularly worrisome.
I just don't know what you take out of the deck. Like, you cut the Aurora Soul Weaver because you don't want to tap out. Honestly, probably would cut the Neural Contagion just because that deck has so many dead cards in it. But then, like, after those 2, I don't know what you really want, and I definitely those Potion Ambition.
Yeah, fair. The main deck is reasonably tight as well, so.
Yeah. It looks like Soliloquy did come up, and we're going to see a turn 1 Kinds Devoted and turn 2 Xenoflora Expert.
Oh, no, not just turn 1 Nebula's Call into turn 1 Kinds Devoted.
Which should get under all of Blues' counter magic and lines up favorably into Exeunt, assume Blues doesn't immediately fire off that Exeunt. If Blues does immediately fire off that Exeunt, Serendipigans will only get 1 drop with the Xenoflora Expert before Blues gets to banish.
Yeah, I do think that
I think it is correct for Blues to fire off the Exeunt immediately, but I don't know if we'll see it happen.
Yeah, like, because I think that there's a real worry about like Keen's Devoted sticking around and just going haha at like you having counter magic, but Blues might just be like, my hand is very removal focused, so I can safely endless disco on turn 1. But
most of Serendipigans creatures don't have 4 power. Like, Abhorrent Spriggan and Encounter of Valkyrie are the only ones, and I don't know how worried you are about either of those. But Blues does make the decision of executing, which I think is correct. And I think we're going to see another critical mass issue where Blues is very just 1 for wanting Serendipigans, and Serendipigans is going to draw a bunch of synergy pieces that are not really scary on their own. Yeah,
like this is giving me big flashbacks to Crush's deck, because Crush's deck also runs Xenoflora Expert, but both of these players' decks feels like they don't have very many like impactful early plays until turn 3, and that means decks that are like just doing stuff or like want to be interactive, so they're taking their time early to set up with like draw spells, can just run over them because they just have perfect time to like set up all of their the exact interaction suite and just get everything they want. And
that's
like
one of the things that's risky about playing these styles of decks, absolutely.
So now I think Serendipigans is just gonna Windmill Slam. Oh, the Alexa might change that. No, okay.
I think you still want to Windmill Slam the Xenoflora.
Okay, and probably try to chain this island into another island.
Well, you will only get.
Oh wait, no, yeah, sorry, sorry, 1 extra land drop. Yeah, okay. So Xenoflora's draws a card off of it. I think this just eats a Descend next turn. Notably though, Blues doesn't have a 3rd land in hand.
Well, can grab the 3rd land off the Endless Disco.
Can, but then if Blues wants to
can both hold up counter magic and answer this. Yeah, I think you always answer this.
Just because of how much card draw it potentially represents, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to risk it. And because I don't think, now that Serendipigans has lands, she's very capable of resolving spells that Cursory Glance and Destructive Ambition don't hit. Ooh, Singularity's Grasp does not make sense, is it here?
I think it maybe just saw, a deck with creatures and with enchantments. Yarn. Sure. And like, maybe like a flexible way of answering resolved Verdant Sanctuaries that can also take a few creatures out in the sweep, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like... It feels like lots of Serendipigans creatures have high enough toughness that like You just
Yeah, exactly.
And again, like you are much better off winning the 1-for-1. There are times when you need wipes. This deck does not feel like one of them. Okay, so I was about to say can drop both Alexa and Verdant Sanctuary, but then I remembered mana has colors, and so
No, can do both though. Tap the Force, tap the Islet, play the Verdant Sanctuary, and then play Force from outside the game.
Right. Oh yeah, and Blues doesn't have counter magic, so okay, yeah, so it is possible, and that's a good turn to get under Blues' counter magic, and then
super agree. And then you can plus the Alexa and play another land out.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, I think that's
and then next turn you can slam
down
up
take Alexa, recur the Xenoflora expert, or try to slam the Contra bounty.
I think let's see, what do we know under the
Answer and planet.
Okay, I was trying to see if there's any like onboard counter magic that might influence what Serendipigans chooses. But yeah, I think probably we'll try to slam the Contra bounty, because if so, you just empty your sideboard of lands and then you're just flush for the rest of the game.
I feel like drawing the extra 2 cards is more powerful than playing 6 land than ramping 6.
Now that you say that, probably, but
it also dodges Destructive Ambition, although Cursory Glance still tags it, so it's kind of 6 and 1/2 dozen the other.
Yeah, I think there's one thing that points me to Serendipigans might try to slam the Contra bounty is because I think that lots of times like players are like most aware of like the piece of interaction they were hit with last, and I don't believe any Destructive Ambitions came down last game, but there were definitely a bunch of Cursory Glances, so I could see that being a factor, you know?
Yeah.
Just like there is the fact of Serendipigans probably knows that Blues has Destructive Ambition, but then it just psychologically you think of what was used against you last.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think is worthwhile.
It looks like Blues is considering whether or not to just Windmill Slam Banish on the Alexa.
Oh, I think Banish should be a very obvious decision here. Yeah.
And Blues comes to the same conclusion, yeah.
Holding up double counterspell is pretty nice. You can just end step, just go out a planet far, far away if you have to.
Mm-hmm. If not...
So we're going to see the split decision here is Serendipigans going to go the route of casting Xenoflora, Expert, or Contra Bounty.
Either way it gets countered, but yeah. What else is there to recur with Alexa? And
that's a question.
Might actually, I was gonna say might use Alexa to recur the Keen's Devoted to make sure that Contra Bounty can't be hit with counter magic, and then still has an extra land to be able to play. Or sorry, it doesn't have an extra land to play, but will have a land to play to be able to run out the Contra. But no, okay, it's just passing.
It's an interesting decision. Missing something.
I don't think so.
Is the logic just tried to, since Blues didn't have pressure on board, just try to get Alexa to ult range? But in that case, why would just jam Contra? Yeah, not sure.
And we saw like similarly passive thing from Serendipigans last game. I don't know. But yeah, now the Contra is gone. Are we having the same issue as last time where they're both forgetting the draw on Ephemeral Adept? Should we do something about that?
Yes, we should.
Oh, that's not how you spell that. Okay.
I'm just acting as a judge. Yeah.
Okay, so Judge Call is resolved. Serendipigans draws off the Ephemeral Adept, ironically, into another Contra of Bounty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think there's just lots of options here, but I feel like just... Oh, okay, it's just gonna Zan again, I guess.
Yep.
I guess that does put Blues reasonably up, but also Serendipigans has a lot of mana. Oh wait, no. Blues knows the contents of Serendipigans' hand, bar 1 card. So okay, yeah, that feels reasonably safe. Is Blues gonna go to just kill Alexa this turn? Yeah, okay, so it's gonna Zan again on Alexa, then probably swing the Contra at Alexa, and then swing Ephemeral Adept face. That seems fine, but like I feel like, yeah, with Planet plus double counter magic plus Cane Dancer, I feel like I wouldn't be like I wouldn't feel like super in a super rush to like play the Xanagan. But I guess like in Blues' mind, like you just kill the Alexa, so can't recur anything from grave. It's all dependent on what Serendipigans draws during their draw step plus drew off Ephemeral, which since you have Banish could potentially just untap answer. Still, I would definitely want like more. But hey, Abhorrent Spriggan is like a reasonable run out from Serendipigans here. It will get insta banished, but it's still a good card right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe Serendipigans. No, yeah, I think you want to run out the Abhorrent Spriggan first, and then next turn you try to run out Contra of Bounty, Contra plus Verdant Sanctuary, and then just try to dome Blues with that.
Honestly, the presence of the Abhorrent Spriggan is making me think about the other Spriggan with Cycling. One sec, let me get what it's called before I make both myself describe. Oh no, never mind. It's Wanderlust, not Wise.
Yeah, I think this one used to have Cycling, if I remember right.
No, there's a different one called Markara Assailant that is very similar.
Okay.
Has similar vibes.
Oh yeah. I don't know how I mixed that up. I feel like they're just both pointy boys looking at
They
the
are,
art.
and they show up in the same deck.
And the same set, so lots to go around. But yeah, it's gonna Born Spriggan and then immediately Inspirit Contra of Bounty onto it. Okay, that kind of slaps. You know what? I don't know how I forgot, but yeah, Contra of Bounty has Inspirit. So now even if
strange, I know how much you love Inspirit.
Cease. But yeah, now Serendipigans has a metric crap ton of mana, and this Contra of Bounty is essentially like a rattlesnake, where it's like, hey, you answer me, I get back this insanely powerful threat, which also provides card advantage. So I think you just like ignore the Contra of Bounty and then just keep Xanagining face, and then try to just win with like Xanagan.
Yeah, I don't think you want to remove this Contra of Bounty now. I think it holding this Spriggan back is absolutely where you would be.
Yeah, or like you can just try to disco, and then if you disco into like some removal, then yeah,
if you have double kill spell, it's fine.
Yeah, so I think that's what you try. Okay, that descent will make things much.
You're okay now. Now you can't kill it this turn.
Yeah, so you just Xanagan face, chump with probably the Ephemeral Adept, since you don't want Serendipigans to have the bounty back. I don't know. And it's also like, yeah, you want to keep the 2/2. And then next turn you can just double kill spell. Okay, so it's gonna pick up the Murmuring Falls off the disco.
Really what Blues just needs to do is get to 8 mana and then cast Singularity's Grasp X equals 6 to destroy the Contra of Bounty.
You see Big Brain.
Never mind the fact that it has 4 toughest.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing,
even better, Blues should just get up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17 mana. So that
to take out the Spriggan.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay, one minor critique I'm gonna make. So Blues was digging for a second kill spell, right? And play the Endless Discovery do so. I think Blues should have just downticked Xanagan, because Xanagan does technically have another ability.
Oh yeah. You're telling me that Xanagan isn't just a 5 mana enchantment that says
deal 2 each time?
Yeah, deal 2 at the beginning of your main phase. This enchantment deals 2 damage to any target. You gain 2 life.
And to be fair, instead now Xanagan will be swinging as a 10/10 flying indestructible next turn, which is pretty okay.
Oh yeah.
But
okay,
yeah, I this is one of the cases where all roads lead to Rome. I don't think there are ways that Blues can screw up this game, even if he was just taking game action entirely at random. I think he would get there.
And yeah, because like all of these enchantments do nothing. It's frustrating to see. I feel like
you know what Serendipigans deck really need. Why would you Destructive Ambition that? Just for the damage? Is that the entire reason? Serendipigans deck needs Arty Study.
Oh my god, new Arty Study, yes. And I mean, like, part of this is also getting, like, it feels like we haven't seen a single one of those, like, trample, lumbering oxes, which,
sure.
but, like...
Those are nice, but they also kill spells and, cursory glances still.
It feels like this could definitely play, like, a few more generically good cards, and then just have, like, the combo kind of tucked in the back. I'm also not sure that it needs to be Temur. I think it could, probably, drop into Sultai, and then just because, like, then you get, like, a lot more interaction / I think Archive Guardian, other like good mid-rangey cards. Just GB has like so many options available to it. And like also like this definitely feels like a deck where like RFE is actively good. It's card advantage plus you get extra land drops. What more could you want? So yeah, just more generically good cards. Also, did Blues just tap out for a Vedlinn? Or not tap out, but why?
Because Blues' deck is built around that card, and if you can play it, you have to. It's the requirement.
Got you.
And again, as I said, I don't think Blues can lose this game even by taking game acts entirely at random.
Fortunately, the spinner landed on Swing with Xanagan, so...
Technically, I think the ideal move here would have included also Swing with Ephemeral Adept and the 2/2, because then you force 1 damage through, and then when Serendipigans untaps and plays a, oh, well, that doesn't work because the counter resolves, never mind. I was thinking you can Destructive Ambition for lethal with, Vedlinn.
You know what? It's not the winning, it's the winning with the big brain. Also, my god, and, like, Roads and Travel. But it's good...
It's let that resolve? You don't need to let that resolve. You're in a... You can't lose if you don't let that resolve.
I mean...
Again, doesn't matter, but the concept is here.
Yeah, it's like, because this can hit a Contra Bounty, which you're... Well, I guess Cane Dancer gets back to Destructive Ambition in that case, so... But yeah, like, you don't have to torture Serendipigans, just let them know.
Don't make your opponent make this if they don't need.
Yeah, that's it.
Alright, that was certainly a match. I need to duck out and my GP battle versus Egg now.
Okay, so I guess I'll be commentating that match, so see you there. And to everyone watching, see you there as well.